Hey everybody, Angry here. I am angry, and I'm very angry right now. So, let's just get into this video. This video is going to be about the Jerry Hom Carbon Fiber Basilisk and the modifications that I've done to it. First off, I want to talk about the knife itself. This is the Jerry Hom Carbon Fiber Basilisk. I've owned a max of 3 Jerry Hom knives. The Thai Bass, which I've tried both in the stock spacers and the barrel spacers. The first thing I want to talk about with the Thai Bass is the stock spacers. The stock spacers were like these huge, I don't know if they were titanium or steel. I think they were steel, but correct me on that. It's been such a long time since I've owned one. And to be honest, after I got barrels, nothing would make me go back to those steel spacers. The only thing that would make me go back to them is the sound profile. But let's just be real. The sound profile of a knife, when it's good, only gives you enjoyment for like 5 seconds. And that 5 seconds is only active when you're doing something like that. That's only when it's active and the enjoyment is real. Besides that, if you have a knife that only sounds good and doesn't flip good, then I don't know what you're doing. I kind of find myself liking old school knives nowadays because I'm coming back to that really love of handle bias things lately. I mean, that's why I always thought when people put barrels on the Gigas, which is one of my favorite knives, actually probably is my favorite knife, I was like, why though? Because that knife was already really neutral, that I thought putting barrels in it would just make it unflippable, because they just don't belong in it, and it makes it too blade bias. In fact, I've heard on the DRIGK interview with Guy from WB Concept, he actually said that he doesn't like people putting barrels in the Gigas because the barrels just take away from the performance, and that he specifically designed the spacers to sort of equal the tip weight of the blade to make it a really neutral flipper. That is also one of the main reasons why I love Guy from WB Concept, because he just pulls out random facts that are just super cool. I remember when I accidentally dropped the tip of the Gigas on my foot and it like stabbed me. I was surprised that it didn't go all the way through my foot because that knife was super sharp. And he literally said that he designed the blade so that it wasn't like gonna penetrate fully through your hand. The other knife I have was the Maelstrom, but then I had this knife, the Carbon Fiber Basilisk, and I've heard good things about it, especially from James Hill, because the Carbon Fiber Basilisk is kind of everything that I would want in a Thai Basilisk, but just a bit grippier. For some reason, I like how this thing flips with the stock spacers, but I think it's because that these are titanium spacers. These have the PVD coating that's not entirely black. It's almost like a gunmetal black on it, because it's not completely black, because you can kind of see the difference between the spacers and the liners, which are blackened from the mod. Also, you can really do see the difference between the blackness on the blade, because that one is a heavy acid wash. We'll talk about those modifications in a second, but this is running on bushings and washers, and just like a lot of the other Jerry Hom knives. Oh, the Tempest. I literally forgot about the Tempest. As soon as I thought of tolerances, I thought of the Tempest. Just like the Tempest, this has pretty solid tolerances, nothing really wiggling going on in there, and it feels super smooth. This has a crown spine, which I do enjoy. Also, it has tang pins, which are still one of my favorite pin systems. I know hidden Zen pin systems are kind of up there right now and kind of being the thing for mainstream knives, and that's cool. I definitely wanted them to be sort of more prominent, so I do like that being more of a popular choice for makers nowadays, especially. One of the biggest cons to this knife, I think, is probably the handle gap. A lot of carbon fiber basilisks or G10 basilisks having really bad handle gap. You can kind of see right here in the closed position, the handle gap is really bad. In fact, it almost looks like they're touching, but they're really not. You can kind of see a gap in there, but they're really close. In the open position isn't really any better either. It's just a bit more, but it's not too bad. As I said before, this has the stock spacers in it. I've seen a lot of people doing barrels. I probably put brass barrels in these ones because I do like the handle weight. It feels very comfortable, this handle weight, and the gripping on the scales is pretty nice, and it goes well with the knife, and it makes it thick. I mean, this knife, compared to a lot of more mainstream knives, especially the Medusa, is a lot thicker. But thanks to major rallies on Instagram, I got the acid wash completely redone and a lot of more things as well. For one, he basically went in thoroughly and described his background of basically being a gun modder for 9+ years and then doing the knife modding as well. So that was already kind of cool. And then every single process I asked him about blackening the liners, which he did, he basically thoroughly described what the process was and what the outcome would be. I think that kind of shows some professionalism, which is Honestly, something I'm very much looking for when it comes to modifying a knife. The acid wash and the blackening added up to be a total of $100, but he included new blacked out pivot screws, as well as new blacked out screws for the body screws. He also sharpened my blade now, which is like ridiculously sharp. I'm like almost scared to pick this thing up now because of how sharp this knife is. He also retuned the bushings on the blade so that the bushings can now adapt to the new state of the blade after acid washing, which is pretty cool. He also put in some new washer hardware in the well, and it's super tight, it's super smooth. Basically no movement at all. It's super professional job, and I would really recommend his work as well. He also lined up the holes on these pivots just because he thought he should. Let's talk about the one thing that is missing, which is the aftermarket scales. I decided to go to Arc Knife, and it was honestly not the best decision. But when he showed me the dark matter red carbon fiber from Fat Carbon, I was like, let's do it. The problem was it was $140. So I instantly asked him, what does the regular twill cost? So I went with the dark matter carbon fiber scales because if I said, well, if I'm spending over $100 on new scales, I might as well go above and beyond with the more ridiculous ones. So I bought that on June 1st, and that is when I placed my order. It is currently August 15th, and I still do not have my scales. In fact, I think he hasn't even shipped them yet because the shipping label he printed for me on like the 4th of August hasn't updated from that USPS hasn't even received the item yet. And he literally said last Friday that he'd be shipping it the next day. It's not Friday anymore. It's also not Saturday, and it's also not Sunday. It's a Monday. It's Monday, and the shipping label has not updated. I feel like if you are providing a service, you should take someone's order with utmost like urgency. M3K Knives on Instagram. Arc Knife apparently made the spacers for the Verdict, which is M3K's production knife. He promised deadlines and then failed on that promise several times, which, spoiler alert, is the exact same experience I'm having right now. In fact, funny thing, when I messaged him on the 4th of July, for some reason, even though he finished my scales, quote unquote, he just decided to leave the state for some reason without telling anyone, especially the people ordering his items. Huh? Like, I don't think that like should even happen. Like, if I was going on a vacation and needed to ship something, you'd think I would ship it before vacation, right? No, let's just make him wait another whole week. I'm just kind of hoping he comes through. Someone described working with him that you just have to keep pushing him, which I personally don't feel like I need to, because if I have to text someone every single day to ship something, you feel like that's just bad thing on their part, just constantly seeing my messages and then pushing back that deadline. Like, the fact that literally last Friday he said he would ship it the next day, and the fact that he didn't even ship it just kind of goes to show like the business motto over at Arc Knife, which is probably like promise and then break it. Yeah, that's probably the business motto over at Arc Knife. But anyways, besides that, the knife flips great. This wasn't really a review of the knife in general. This is more of the review of some of the modifications on it. Again, if you want some really high quality and professionally done modifications, go over to Major Rallies on Instagram. I recommend his work 100%, not only because he's super professional and gets your mods done at a reasonable price, but he also gets it done in a pretty good return time. He's just a good dude. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy Hanson Metal's solo review. Anyone? Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you smack that like button. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You probably didn't see my channel post, but only like under 2% of you are actually subscribed. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Just hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed my content over the past few years I've been doing it. It just really helps me out. Also, be sure to comment your thoughts on the carbon fiber Basilisk down in the description down below. And if you do want to see more tutorials, I know a lot of people have over the years been asking for more tutorials, and honestly, I'm not the best person to do it, but feel free to give your thoughts on that as you will. So thank you guys for watching. Peace out.